Go ahead and call today's meeting to order. If you would all mind standing for invocation and the pledge of allegiance. Lord, we ask that you please guide us in making decisions that are for the benefit of our community today. Please give us your divine wisdom in making those decisions. We ask that you please protect all county employees, all of our constituents, especially those in our public safety department. And we ask that you bring about a peaceful Easter season for us here in Horry County. In your name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. We'll start today with, I know we have Miss Kathy Farish signed up for public input, so we'll start with you today, Kathy, if you wouldn't mind coming up to the podium here and just saying your name and talking about what you'd like to discuss.
Okay, so my name is Kathy Farish, and I live at 9705 Armalise Drive in Myrtle Beach, which is in Plantation Lakes, and I'm here today to discuss with you guys an ordinance that's coming up on the Transportation Committee regarding the use of e-bikes and the effects that the e-bikes are having on our community for safety. That's my number one thing is the safety issue, along with how some of the young folks that are driving these e-bikes are causing issues in our communities, like on our common grounds, private property. They're just not abiding by any of the rules. They're riding those e-bikes down Carolina Forest Boulevard on the walking paths, and so I'm afraid that someone is going to get hurt. Several of us met with Councilman DeSabato, Chief Linhart, back about 3 weeks ago, and we brought this issue up to them, so we want to just see what we can do about getting some kind of resolution through an ordinance of how to use those particular vehicles.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Next up, review and approval of the agenda contents. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next, approval of the minutes for the January 27th, 2026 meeting. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving on to discussion items. An update on the Coast RTA by Brian Piasek.
Good afternoon. Full house here today. This represents our third committee that we've been a part of here at Horry County Council, so thank you for that. But happy to come and give you an update. To say that we're busy is a serious understatement. We got a lot of things going on, and I wanted to kind of give you all a rundown of that. I've got 3 items on my agenda. One is we're proposing some service changes to be effective for June 1st, and I'll go through those. We have a facility update. We actually have a site plan for you all to look at today. And then I just wanted to warn you about an upcoming FY26 revision to our budget. So we need to get that through council later on this summer. Our board will probably finalize it in April, so we'll be coming back to transportation in May to kind of get you through all that.
This will be your forever home, by the way.
I'm thankful for that. I felt like kind of the ping pong ball bouncing back and forth between committees, so all good. It's all good. Our service change proposal effectively adds 3 buses into the daily service. We're correcting some cuts that we had to make late in the road use fee days. Going back to 60-minute frequency on a number of routes. I'll talk a little bit about that. I think the most controversial thing that we're proposing is to actually remove service on the entertainment shuttles. We had 2 routes, one in Myrtle Beach, one in North Myrtle Beach, that just operate during the summer. In their heyday, two trolleys in Myrtle Beach would operate from Memorial Day to Labor Day, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. and transport 70,000 people in 90 days. In the last 2 summers, it's been about 9,000. And so it definitely was killed by COVID, we think, mostly. And really, it's only transporting workers, mostly J1s, HB2s, those types of folks. And we feel like we've addressed a lot of their transportation with the services that we're planning on the other routes. Resets frequency on our main route, Conway to Myrtle Beach, to 60 minutes. We had to drop that back to 75 minutes because of running time issues. And at that time, back in '23, we really didn't have the money to put another bus out there to be able to bring down our frequency. So that one, our Socastee route, will go to 60 minutes. We're adding service to the top end of North Myrtle Beach the top end of Carolina Forest every 60 minutes. Right now, that's at 2 hours. And then I think I actually have these spelled out. There are some alignment changes. We're picking up some of the lost segments on the entertainment shuttles. And then after that, probably won't be until next April, we want to move towards some what I would call real increases in service, primarily area services. We call it microtransit, and I'll talk a little bit about that. We're planning on public meetings in April. Hopefully our board can make a decision in the April meeting on whether or not to move forward with those on June 1st. I think the biggest improvement that we'll be making by having everything at 60-minute frequency is that it will move our transfers at the Myrtle Beach Transit Center. We call it pulse service. All of those routes, so basically be 7 of them, come into Myrtle Beach at the same time. People transfer between the routes and then depart. So it really helps our ridership. We'll minimize the amount of waiting that's happening at the transit center, and we really do think it'll improve ridership overall. Really shorten up some travel times for a lot of people. We're improving service to the airport, but we're doing that by virtue of moving it from the Socastee route to the Conway route. So there'll be direct service from Conway and CCU to the airport before it goes to the Myrtle Beach Transit Center. We think that's a real marketing hit and something that we'll be able to put out there and will be used pretty heavily. We're adding service by virtue of taking the airport off of the Socastee route. We can add South Strand Hospital to that route. And so that will be the second to last hospital in the Horry County that's getting service. The only remaining hospital that doesn't have service will be Seacoast, and we really do hope that we can get to that next year. In the meantime, we're helping them out with employee transportation via van pool and some other initiatives that we have going on. A big thing in our business when you're making changes to the fixed route is it has an impact on paratransit. Paratransit is for elderly and disabled. If you live within 3/4 of a mile of a fixed route, then you become eligible for paratransit, and that's door-to-door service. And really our footprint doesn't change much with these changes, so it's not going to have too much of an impact on paratransit overall. These changes are cost neutral for FY26. I think that's critically important because our funding agreement says no new service until we have an O&M reserve in place. It does add $1 million in operating costs for FY27, and we plan on having our 8% in an operating and maintenance reserve over the summer. And so we'll have that in place before this really does become an increase in service. And as I mentioned, after that, we'll be talking about some additional services, i.e. a new local route in North Myrtle Beach, which would incorporate Seacoast on fixed route. Something that we call microtransit. I think the best example of that would be Carolina Forest Boulevard. If you think about the map, we'll have a route that does the top end of Carolina Forest, and we have a route that does the bottom end of Carolina Forest. But if you ran a fixed route along the length of Carolina Forest, nobody's going to hoof it out to get to a fixed route out on Carolina Forest. So what we're proposed is 2 or 3 vehicles operating on demand response. So they will penetrate those neighborhoods and then either take you up to either end, which is where a lot of services are, or you can get on the fixed route from up there with a free transfer. With those vehicles, we'll also be doing paratransit service, so we can expand our paratransit footprint a little bit, and also possibly working with senior resources and providing services to their congregating meal site up there by the library. So those vehicles will be doing triple duty, hopefully.
Will those microtransit vehicles be running on a fixed schedule?
It's technically demand response. I think there's a lot of folks who use it on a daily basis. We call that a subscription trip. So you might be doing that trip every day or every other day or 3 days, whatever. But no, I mean, it's sort of like an Uber, picking people up it's just not as real time. We ask that you call in the day before, I need a trip tomorrow to get to the doctors or get to the fixed route, those types of things. And then we got a lot of work to do on the routes in Conway, a lot of loops. Loops technically are bad in transit, so we got some work to do with doing some realignments up this way. And so we hope all that will happen by April 1st of next year. And we'll see. Obviously, we got to look at expenses and those types of things. Any questions about service changes? Facility update. I will tell you that, and David, you probably would commiserate with me on this. The eminent domain process is not for the faint of heart, and it's certainly not constructed to take 21.5 acres. But we finally came to a deal on that. We paid a little over $6 million for that parcel. It's paid, the money's been exchanged, and now we're working on doing subdivision and annexation into the city. This is one of the little donut holes in Myrtle Beach. We have our architect on board, contract executed, and I'll show you a new site plan that they came up with. To make improvements on the one that you see on the screen right now. We've also selected our construction manager. We're doing what's called a construction management at-risk mode of development of this project, which brings in the construction manager early on in the process so that we don't design our way out of budget. So they're there to give us cost estimates along the way as we go through, and we have a set amount of money for this, and we've got to try to stay within those means. So we'll bring them in early. So a little bit hard to see, but I don't know if I go back, you'll see the this is the transit center, and then a maintenance facility with parking in the back, fueling, like read the labels. You will see now that our transit center has gone from a rectangle to a triangle. And they've sort of reoriented it. That's allowed some additional parking that we need. We'll actually have a public meeting space in this building so that anybody could use with 50 to 75 parking spaces for it. We got a few more buses on this alignment. I think there's a parking for 40 buses. We currently have 21, and 60 small vehicles, which we currently have 22 of those. So we got plenty of growth built into this facility. And it's kind of hard to see, but we are working on the possibility of, I think we need to replace batteries in this thing. At the top end, there's a faint yellow or faint red dashed line where my bus parking is. We are working on doing a land swap with our neighbor there as part of this to give us a little bit more space. We have about 2 acres above this site in the back. But we decided that this is a better arrangement because we don't want to waste too much time drivers walking all the way in the back to get to parked buses. And so we're just squaring off the back, makes some sense. And that's actually a net gain for the neighbor, and we should we'll get some additional revenue as a result of that. So that's a land swap. In order to do that, though, we've got to do our environmental analysis, and then obviously we have the CMAR on board to get an idea of what long lead items so that we can minimize the amount of schedule to get this built. Right now, we're talking site work starting in the fall and opening day for the transit center in late 27, early 28, and opening day for the maintenance facility sometime in 28. This is sort of a little bit off topic, but this speaks to some of the issues we're having on the financial side, or just the reason why we need to do an update in our budget. These buses on the left are 2003 NABI suburban coaches. Some of you may remember the 10 buses I brought from Dallas with me. They have, in 2015, those are 2003 models. They were operated basically for 22 years, which is really long for a bus. Buses are 12 to 14 years. They all had, we had 4 of them left in the fall. They all had close to 2 million miles on them. And it's so hard to get parts for them. We sent them to Don's Car Crushing. So we're able to replace them with 4 of these buses on the right, which are New Flyers, 2027 models. I will tell you that the 27 models cost $715,000 a piece, not including tariffs. And that same model in 2021 was about $487. So the inflation is really hitting us. The nice thing is, we ordered them back in August. Bless you. We ordered them back in August, and typically you want to go 14 to 18 months for delivery. New Flyer found a production line, opening in the production line in April. And so we're actually going to see these buses at the end of the April, which they're definitely needed. We definitely wanted to get them in before, you know, our service changes happen. But that is a budget hit, you know, a cash hit in April of this year as opposed to October or November of later on, or even later than that. So that's something that we're just sort of recovering through. So we are working on a budget revision. There's obviously a lot of moving parts related to that I'll outline for you all next time I'm here. We are still gaining an understanding of how the Ride 4 money is flowing. Certainly it's a little different than road use fees. Obviously the numbers are bigger, but the quarter-to-quarter flow is a little bit different. We got a better understanding of that now, but still working through some of that. Still waiting for FTA to release FY26 funds. Typically that happens in the January-February timeframe. It's now mid to late March. We still haven't heard anything on that. So I've got some delays on the urban side. And then SCDOT has got some delays on our rural side. So I'm still working through some of those grants. Both of those, like currently we're not drawing anything from those 2 grants, but we should be here in fairly short order. I mentioned the early arrival of the buses, and that final property acquisition number kind of ate up some cash, so we're still working towards our O&M reserve. And so our budget, in the overall scheme of things, we have about a reduction of $600,000 in revenue that we're trying to handle, and a $400,000 increase in expenses, which is mostly capital expense. I think. Yeah, that's it. So I'll be glad to answer any questions.
I got a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Remind me again about the fire station portion. Was the city purchasing that, or are they
Yeah.
already included in the purchase?
They've paid about $350,000 per acre, so which is about towards our purchase price. So they're paying for their portion. I'm also looking forward to being able to catch up with them in the development process of the projects. I think there's a lot of opportunities for us to help each other with expenses and that sort of thing. So
The $6 million, did that include what, was that the reduction of what they put in, or was that the total?
that's the total for the 21.5 acres, and they put a little between 1 and 1.1 million towards their portion of it.
Thanks, sir.
Yes, sir.
If you go on the app where all the vehicles, can I trace all the vehicles if I'm waiting on a bus? I kind of know it's like 12 minutes ago.
Tells you exactly where they are in real time. Yes, sir.
look at vans?
We're working on making that connection to Google Transit as well. So you could go to like online, and you're looking at Google Maps, you'll see all this in real time as well.
That's a really good investment because Google, if you go to Google Maps, you can pre-plan your trips.
Plus it's free, so we can
Like that.
convert our app to Google Transit and not have to pay our monthly fee on the app. So we're
Good
looking to
job.
convert the app.
Thank you.
I think that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, next, a ride program update by Anna Barnhill.
All right, I'm gonna try to do this myself. So we've had a few updates since the last time I presented. Some of these slides I'm gonna breeze through because you saw them last time. This is just a map of the RIDE 3 projects that we've got out there. The complete list, still pretty much the same. I think last time I spoke to you, Fred Nash was opened, I think maybe the day before we were in here, so it's now been open about 2 months, and everything seems to be going pretty well. At the end of this presentation, we have a little video that's kind of a brief part of the next Future in Focus newsletter that talks a little bit more about Fred Nash, so I'll kind of just briefly blow past it right now. Again, currently under construction on RIDE 3, we've got the RIDE 3 Group 3 dirt roads, 4.34 miles have been paved. You know, that's the same number as last time, I'll get into that in a minute. We're coming out of the cold weather, and so things are starting to ramp up as far as that goes. And then some of these other projects, we'll get into all of them now. With the RIDE 3 Group 3 dirt roads, again, we've got the 4.34 miles that have been paved. Now that we're ramping back up with the warm weather under construction, you see those roads there. We've got Bedford, Birchfield, Maplewild, Sweet Home, Tranquil, and Turner roads, and then Harrelson and New Dawn have now been awarded and so are going to be upcoming. The SC9 widening in Loris, these are some overhead shots taken by our PIO group. This project, as of I think last week, has had all of the final surfacing put down. They're working on some of the final punch list items. The signal at Heritage is now fully open, and so this project is nearing completion. You can use it as it's intended right now. Everything now is just in the punch list phase, so that's a nice completion we've added in the last month. The 701 widening project in North Conway is getting ready to gear up. As I mentioned last time, the construction contract has been awarded to Palmetto. We anticipate their pre-construction conference to take place in the next month or so. Santee Cooper is now out there relocating poles for this project, and so you should see things start to ramp up on this one as well. The 501 realignment job, the construction completion is estimated in early 2027. I actually got a text from the contractor on the way here that the demo crews are finishing up with a house in Pawleys and should begin demo this week on the last of the remaining buildings that have to be demoed for this project. So asbestos abatement is taking place on those buildings, and the demo crews are going to start mobilizing, if not today, tomorrow. And that will really ramp up, you know, progress on completing that one. The 501 mainline widening, if you've ridden through there, you can see a lot of work is ramped up out there with the warmer weather. Construction completion is still estimated for late this year. They're currently working on drainage, and now they've ramped up with the asphalt items. If you are heading southbound, which is heading towards the beach, they've just completed build-up and widening, and now they're turning back towards Conway and working on those items as well. The idea is that they're trying to get those items done so that before the summer lane closure restrictions, they can move traffic to the outside and do the work in the median during the summer lane closure restrictions. The Highway 17 business intersections, we're still working in the utility relocation window. There is some concurrent drainage work taking place, but right now we're still just seeing a lot of utilities relocating. There's a lot of complicated utility work out there, so that's what's taking place right now. Another exciting update, we had the pre-construction conference for Forest Brook clearing and grubbing yesterday. So the contractor plans to start mobilizing and get their signage staked out this coming week. They're going to start working on their surveying next week and get ramped up to begin clearing and grubbing on that project. That project, much like 701, has some windows of work. Environmentally, we've got until April 15th for the spotted turtle to do its thing, and then we've got until May for the bats to do their thing. So in the meantime, they're going to get out there and start surveying and have their environmental surveys done and everything, so that once those windows get opened up, they can start work. Some of the upcoming RIDE 3 projects that we've still got out there, The Group 4 dirt road paving is in design. They've been working hard on that. Conway Perimeter Road, looks like it's gonna go to let sometime in 2027. And we've got Carolina Bays and the 22 extension in permitting. I was gonna go into detail a little bit on the 22 extension since we did have some public meetings earlier this month. So where we stand on the 22 extension, right now we're in the middle of the NEPA process. And so what we had earlier this month were some of the public information meetings. We've developed the purpose and need, and so we now had public information meetings to go through the 22, I think, was it David, 22 original routes that we had. We've now narrowed them down through a tier 1 process to 16 remaining routes, 14 preliminary alternatives. And you can see, I know it's hard to see, but the routes are a combination of these shown above. So now that we've gotten the tier 1 screening reduced to these 14 preliminary alternatives, tier 2 is going to take additional screening criteria, including the information that we got from the feedback in the public information meetings, as well as other residential and business displacement effects, and effects on wildlife and that sort of thing, to further reduce these routes to, maybe 5, 6, 7, I guess that's the, I forget what we call them, preliminary, that's like, range of alternatives, preliminary alternatives. Reasonable alternatives, thank you. So after that, we'll have reasonable alternatives, and then we'll have more public information meetings once we have those reasonable alternatives in the fall. But for now, we are down to 14 preliminary alternatives, and we're doing the tier 2 screening. Once again, this has not changed from last time. This is the RIDE 3 actual and projected revenues, same as last. I probably won't show this slide anymore because this is completed, and now we're on to RIDE 4 take-ups. Same with this slide. We do have some changes. We have a little more green to show on this one, which is always nice. Green is complete, and we hope to change some more to in construction here shortly. So moving on to RIDE 4, again, you've seen this probably plenty of times, so we'll move on past that. We've got the following list of RIDE 4 projects that are in design or are being worked on. Since the last time we met, we've now had the design award is in progress for 38th Avenue North widening, the 17 bypass and Robert Grissom Parkway interchange is being awarded for design, and as well as the 31 Sand Ridge Road Connector design award is in progress. So that's some of the changes since last time we met.
What's the construction timeline on the Robert Grissom Parkway?
The Sand Ridge?
The interchange.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Adding that
Yeah, the interchange at 30.
I think DOT's last estimate, and it's been 6 or 8 months since I've asked them, is about 3 years, 2 to 3 years, which is faster than normal, but it's a much simpler project than normal. But it still seems too long.
Yeah, I think their last schedule showed 27 to 30.
We're talking about the same project, what we're.
Yeah, adding.
Yeah, to add that
so you don't
Revolutionary
yeah.
Warway. Yeah.
eliminate
No.
that turn.
Oh,
I'm
Eliminating
talking about
the-
Grissom
Oh.
onto 17. Right?
oh, you're talking about, that, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, 3 years.
3 years, okay. We're talking about. the
Yeah,
same
y'all are.
project.
I'm up the road a little bit.
All right.
Yeah, that one is, again, that one's just been awarded, and so we'll get some maybe a little bit better numbers once the design contractor's in place, or design engineer's in place. We can probably hone that in, but right now the DOT's estimating.
We've asked
3
them
years.
to accelerate that
Yes.
anywhere they can, because it's needed.
It's dangerous.
Yeah,
Okay.
but that one's, I think, fully awarded now, but I'll have to check on that, and as soon as we have that initial meeting, we can get a little bit better idea.
Thank you.
RIDE 4 actual and projected revenues are up there now. We've added, I think, since the last time we met, December and January's numbers, or maybe just January's. And once again, we have some fluctuations. Some months we're over, some months we're under, but we're staying kind of, close to what we projected, which was kind of an aggressive projection. And then the Future in Focus newsletter will be going out in March 30th, so next week. We have a little snippet of it to show you. This isn't the full video like last time, because that will be unveiled on March 30th. David has been spared in this video, but I have not, so I think Tom's got that. Well, he's already showed it. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. And this is about the Fred Nash.
Construction for Fred Nash and Horry Boulevard began in the spring of 2023, and it was fully open to traffic in January of 2026.
A new route to take drivers from here to here without using Highway 17 bypass. The extension of Fred Nash Boulevard was a Ride 3 initiative completed in partnership with the South Carolina Department of Transportation. It creates a more direct connection between two major corridors, helping reduce congestion along Highway 17 bypass. In addition to improving traffic flow, the project enhances safety in the heavily traveled area near Coastal Grand Mall, and its distinctive design may catch your attention the first time you drive through.
The intersection at Fred Nash and Harrelson Boulevard is unique in that it is a hamburger-shaped intersection, as opposed to the round intersection that you're used to seeing at a roundabout. The design is unique to the state. I think currently it is the only roundabout like that in the state. So I anticipate that there may be chances to use that roundabout structure in the future. As the design for Fred Nash and Harrelson is unique, we just would ask that you pay attention to the signage as everyone gets used to the new configuration. And so this hamburger intersection should hopefully help the flow of this traffic immensely.
So that's it. If you want to see more of me and the ride updates, you can watch
Lisa
the full.
didn't make you wear the hard hat.
No, not this time. But
Good thought, though.
yeah, it is a good thought. I'll do it. But that's all I have. If you have any questions.
No.
The hamburger intersection's really good. It's just too bad I saw the video today instead of yesterday
Yesterday.
morning.
Yes.
Same thing happened to me too, I had to say.
It's a long way around if I'm
Yeah.
not to do a U-turn.
Yeah.
But the Conway Perimeter Road,
Yes.
can, if not you, then who? Somebody explain why we're talking about 2027 at this point.
We've gotten a favorable discharge of that case. All of that's worked out. Not the case, the claim. All that's been worked out. And right now they've got to go through the finish design on the drainage. We had some drainage issues that we've uncovered over towards the 701 end that they're going to work out. They've got to go finish. They're working on finishing that design and getting that right away. Go to bid within in about 12 plus months right now. But that's a schedule, and we're always going to undersell you and try to over deliver. So if we can find any way to accelerate that, we will. But there are things in there that we can't short circuit.
If we could please accelerate it.
Yes, sir.
Because I was a young man when we started talking about this.
Yep.
And I'm accelerating, but I'm accelerating the wrong way.
You're still a young man.
Yeah, so please.
Youngish.
Thank you, appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, next we'll have the Public Works Department overview by Randy Plummer.
I asked them to come give this because sometimes we get we go a long time without talking about some of the departments, and there are some things that council may know we do, some they may have forgotten, some they may not know about.
We appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit about Public Works. You may know a lot about what we do. Maybe there'll be something in here that you're reminded of, or maybe you didn't know that we did. So I'm going to have Ashley Dawsey help me with this. She's our Deputy Director. She's been with us for 5 years, great addition to our team. And so I'll let her begin, and I'll pick up at the end.
I'm going to go through this pretty quick, so if you guys have any questions, just stop me on the way. So, like Randy said, we're Public Works. These are just a few little facts for you. There are 4,500 miles, and that's center lane miles, so that's not lane miles, of roadways in Horry County. Public Works maintains 1,587 of those, and 450 are unpaved. We also have around 9 miles of beach that we maintain, and Randy will go over that in just a minute. So here are a few things we do as part of our road maintenance. We have motor graders. They plow our roads. We try to get to roads every 3 weeks. 450 miles of dirt roads, that's difficult, but we try. In the center, we have one of these guys, or one of our guys. He's putting up a new stop sign, so all the signs on the roads, we have to maintain those. And we also have mowing over on the side. Some of our roads, we try to get to around 2 times per mowing season. We have some roads that are higher priority. They are on a much higher frequency than that. We also have road name signs. So Horry County Public Works is responsible for all road name signs in unincorporated areas. And part of that is design and manufacturing the road name signs. And if they're damaged, we repair or replace them. And the planning department is responsible for the naming of those road name signs.
One caveat to that, all the signs in an unincorporated area, we don't do anything inside of a private neighborhood. We sign the private roads where they intersect with a public road,
Yep.
but we don't go internal, in case you get that question.
We also have a pothole patching truck, and I come from DOT, and this is really a special thing to have. We did a lot of the AMZ and coal patch that, you put it out and 2 days later it's popped back out. We actually go in, cut the asphalt where the road's damaged, dig all the bad material out and put hot mix back in place, so it's a much better product. We also have bridge replacements and drainage improvements that we do. In the last 5 years since I've been here, we've completed over 65 drainage improvements. And that could be anything from replacing a 15-inch cross line to putting a box culvert where there was once a cross line. And we've also replaced 28 bridges with reinforced concrete box culverts. One more aspect is road construction. So we have 2 crews that help out with the dirt road paving projects, and they do everything from the clearing to putting the base material down to get the road ready for asphalt. Turn it over to Randy to talk about the beaches.
All right, so now we're going to transition from roads to other things. So beach maintenance, very important aspect of where we're at because of tourism. You see the pictures there of many of the things that we do, and I'll talk about those things in just a minute. We talked earlier about there's 9 miles of beach that we maintain, and different from the municipalities, our beaches are spread out. So we have one of our beaches that we maintain is between North Myrtle and Myrtle, and then we have what we call Central Beaches, which is just south of the state park within the campground area, and then in Garden City. There is one piece of beach that we don't maintain that's in the county, and it's a remote area in the Little River area. So you saw the pictures earlier. Here's some of the stats about those beach maintenance activities. We're maintaining the parking areas, the trash cans on the beach. 4th of July is a huge time, and we have extra folks that work to try to clean up the debris. I invite you to come out and look and see how much work gets done over the few hours between midnight and when people show up at the beach expecting a nice clean beach the next day. So one of the other highlights of what we do is we provide free beach wheelchair service. And so you can see we've got 38 chairs right now, and our folks do a very good job of providing that free service to the folks on the unincorporated beaches. We also have 4 mobility mats that help with the folks that need the extra help getting to the beach.
I've said this a lot, giving those free beach wheelchairs to people is one of the best things.
So we thank you those we get.
I'm telling you, that's you get to see it changes people's, and this may sound like an overstatement, but it changes some people's lives. People that've never been to the beach, that never touched the ocean, because they can't get there. You're giving them a freeway, and it's a good, to put a smile on your face.
Puts a smile on their faces. We get text messages, pictures of the folks that are using those, and always a smile on their face. It's a great thing. Another aspect of Public Works is roadside litter. You've seen these folks mostly on the tourist routes, and I've got a map of those locations, but they pick up over 1,000 bags of litter every month. And interestingly, it really doesn't fluctuate that much through the summer months and the winter months. So if that tells you anything, but it is good to keep.
We make our own trash.
But anyway, it's a good thing to keep those tourist routes clean. I can tell you from meetings around the state and being at conferences that I get compliments from other jurisdictions about how clean our roadways are when they come to the beach.
Bill Howard picks up the litter out there. See him.
So here's a map of, the main roads that we service with that litter crew. And so as you can see, it's the main routes. We also have one litter crew that's funded by general fund that can do roads that aren't tourist related. So, and then one other aspect of Public Works is very important, and our guys really shine during these times and come together and work hard, is disaster recovery. Did not mean to do that. Anyway, you can see, we've had the range of disasters, and the last couple of years we've had snow and haven't had to deal with that in the past, but our guys rise to the occasion every time we have a situation like that. So if you guys have any questions, I'd be glad to help answer them. Yes, sir.
How can we show appreciation to people, like the man driving the bush hog there, the guys that have to go out in the ice and the snow? Do we need to have a barbecue in the fall or something, or just a pat on the back, gold star? What can we do to show more appreciation?
We do have a Public Works Week that we recognize our guys, and you're welcome to come to that event and say thank you, and just out in public, just stopping them and saying thank you means a lot to those guys. But
if you'll follow Danny around, he's always doing cookouts for him.
Danny cooks for everybody.
I know.
Can you tell us a little bit about after the hurricane, what we're able to do with the sand and what we're able to do with our heavy equipment out there on the beach?
So there is an area specific, mostly, and since I've been here, it's only been in Garden City for the most part. The sand, there's a low area of Shore Drive and the surrounding area of Garden City that is susceptible to sand transfer from the beach and from the ocean up onto onto the roads, under the houses. The worst I've seen it was in 2020, 2021.
Ian was in 2022.
Okay, 22. We had a stretch that extended down into Georgetown as well. Before the storms, we typically will go out, because there are dunes, for the most part, there are dunes in the Garden City area that protect the inland areas. At our beach accesses, we will actually go out and connect those dunes temporarily to kind of limit the duration of the inflow of the ocean water. That has helped a lot. We've noticed a lot of protection from that. But they do give way, and when they give way, sand does come in. We have been so far successful in returning that sand to the beach. Sometimes we'll screen it, depends on the amount of debris and how much structure damage we have, because we do have some docks, or not docks, but walkovers and decks and things like that come up with them. But sometimes we'll screen it, sometimes we have not had to. We try to put it back in the dunes. Sometimes we have spread it on the beach. It depends on, kind of unique to each storm. But that is a large undertaking that we do, because you've got to get the sand off the road so you can return public safety service to the
Yeah.
structures. We don't want a structure fire during that time, so. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir, it's remarkable, I've seen it. It's very good stuff.
We've actually had police escorting our trucks running up and down the road
Yeah.
at
They're
times.
the first
to keep-
responders
To keep the
after the
people from
hurricane.
getting in the way.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you. Moving on to resolutions, a resolution to accept the roads and drainage in the following subdivisions to the Horry County Maintenance System: Oberon Woods Phase 2, Oberon Parkway, Glacier Way, Hibernation Way, Forest Drive, and Rupert Drive; Carolina Farms, Keithland Drive, Squirrel Run Drive, and McGill Drive; and Villas at Carolina Forest, Marigold Drive. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay. And then moving on to ordinances, an ordinance to amend the Horry County Code of Ordinance so as to regulate the use of personal electric devices within the unincorporated area of the county. David Jordan. And just a point of reference for those that are here for this particular issue, we moved this is something that would normally go through our Public Safety Committee, but we moved it onto Transportation in an effort to try and get the issue resolved before the summertime when all these kids are out of school, so. we're
Well,
trying
it
to-
is sort of transportation.
It is sort of transportation.
All right, well, to start with, Ms. Farish, the day before Dennis DeSavato called me to work on this, I was in Carolina Forest, I live in Conway, and we almost got hit by 3 of those bikes on River Road. So I knew what he was talking about. That was my first experience, other than the little scooters in downtown
And my
Conway.
phone is loaded with photos and videos of anybody.
I have no doubt. So what's before you is very similar to what the city of Myrtle Beach passed in the fall, to try and regulate the little bikes. The scooters in Conway, how it's written, if Conway was part of unincorporated Horry County, would also be regulated under this. So what this does, it prohibits them on streets with a speed limit of 20 miles per hour or greater, which would incorporate the subdivision streets throughout Carolina Forest and elsewhere. They cannot go on a sidewalk. They cannot go on county parking lots, parks, recreation, or green space. After speaking with our Parks and Rec director, they have an issue with them tearing up the grass, doing burnouts, and that type of thing. You can't carry more people than what it's designed to carry. You can't operate more than 20 miles per hour. You cannot operate in a reckless manner. And you cannot ride around holding your phone as well. For roads that are less than 20 miles per hour, they have to stay in the right lane, do the signals, and all that good stuff. Police have reviewed this as well. They feel like it is enforceable from their end. It would be ordinance summons. The first, it would be a $100 fine. Enough to get a kid's attention, but not.
More importantly, a kid's parents' attention.
Right.
I don't know if $100 is enough to get their attention.
Once they realize that they spent all these money on these bikes that the kids aren't gonna be able to drive around on, that'll get their attention.
The marketplace is going to be packed.
I mean, I'm all for, increasing it to some degree. I don't wanna make it punitive, but I don't know if they're, what's a moving
Isn't the purpose of
violation?
applying punitive to begin with?
Well, overly punitive, how's that, Gary?
What's a moving
What's a moving violation?
Some of them range from anywhere to $150 to $232, around there, depending on what they are.
I mean, you okay with that?
Yes. I haven't been involved, I haven't seen the bikes in Carolina Forest. I really haven't seen them around Conway yet, but on Sunday, my wife and I were coming back from Garden City, and I was terrorized about 3 little kids, probably 10, 11 years old, on 3 bikes coming from 17 on the Garden City connector. And my wife said at first, "Oh my gosh." And all I can, and that's just a horrible little space there to be in a car, much less little kids.
I almost tattooed a kid and I was going 25 miles an hour speed limit in my neighborhood. I almost tattooed a kid who didn't take heed to the stop sign. And, you know, they're tearing through neighborhoods, they're tearing through people's backyards, they're trespassing on private property, they're using the berms as, you know, tracks and, you know, hills to jump off of, and they're just, you know.
Are these the same kind of bikes that are all over Conway? Or is this something different?
Similar.
Similar, the issue they're having are, basically they're little electric mopeds. Really.
They look like a motorcycle,
Yeah.
but it,
They're
it's
more
not
like an
loud.
electric dirt bike than they
Yeah.
are an electric pedal assist bike. And we carved out pedal assist bikes.
Right, we
from
carved
us,
out
right?
pedal
Yeah.
assist, and they have some
Right.
special protection.
Yeah.
Those Conway thing, it's the Wild West. They're everywhere, and they just leave it. They'll leave it on the sidewalk, they'll leave it in the middle of the street, they just walk off.
So they get $250.
Well, Bill had a question.
Yeah, I'm not on the committee, but if you'll allow me to ask one question. What about an adult on one of these e-bikes just exercising? What's the rule on that?
Well, again, this isn't, we excluded the pedal assist electric bikes, the people who are using it for exercise purposes. This is more the, like, the motorized electric bikes, like the
Gotcha.
dirt bikes, yeah.
Good, good.
Is it delineated by having a driver's license, possessing a driver's license?
The state doesn't require
The state
Not a
would
trick
require-
question. Okay. And also, have you, by chance, if you get if you haven't look at the Mount Pleasant ordinance, because I spent a lot of time down there with my daughter, and whew, it's like biker gangs running up down the sidewalks in Mount Pleasant, and they are really working on it. Read a couple things in the Mount Pleasant City Council addressing the issue.
I'll look at that before discussing council.
Please.
And see if we like it.
Cam, was that a motion to amend?
So
I don't know,
our
I
general
just-
ordinance violation is up to $200. If you want to.
I mean,
It's
I
consistent.
have no
I can
problem
just
with,
reference
I
that
have,
section.
well, I have no problem with making it in line with the moving violation.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
That still gives
Is
the
that an
magistrate
amendment?
discretion. 'Cause he can-
Cam, is that in the form of an amendment, a motion to
just
amend?
make a motion to amend it to $200.
Second.
Right, the amendment passes. Any more discussion?
I believe so. Anybody have any other questions or discussion items about it?
What about, and I don't know a lot about the e-bikes, what about like parking? Like, do they, where do they park them, like when they go? Like,
In their mom and dad's garage.
Okay, no, I mean like when they're out, can they occupy, can
A
two or
parking
three of
space?
them occupy
I don't know.
one parking space?
I don't know what our parking ordinance
Or-
would.
Because this would ban them in public parking,
Mhm.
and the rest would be, if you're at Publix, that would be the private parking space.
Right.
We haven't received, just from the law enforcement side of it, we haven't received parking complaints per se on more than the operation. Them operating alongside major highways and things of that nature, and in subdivisions.
If they stay off of River Oaks, and
Caroline.
they won't be parking
Right.
places as well.
Okay, any other discussion? All right, all in favor for moving this on to full council? Thank you.
Easter Bunny won't be bringing it.
Do what now?
Easter Bunny won't be bringing it.
Not this year.
On the
Depends on how quickly we can get it out in the public. But all right, I think that's it. There are some attachments on there for information purposes. Is there any old business that we need to discuss today? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, motion to adjourn accepted.